Please be aware, in this podcast series we talk about all areas of safeguarding, which some people may find upsetting. So please make sure you're okay listening to today's topic. Be mindful of those around you, such as children, that you might not want to listen in. Hi, I'm SSS Safeguarding Director Sam Preston.
And I'm former head teacher and content author Sara Spinks.
Today we're discussing a significant topic that affects families across England and Wales, the crackdown on school absence. With the recent changes in statutory guidance by the Department for Education coming into effect on the 19th of August this year, there's a lot to unpack regarding fines, responsibilities, and the broader context of absenteeism.
That's right, Sam. You know, the rise in unauthorised absences, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, has been a real cause for concern. But are these increased fines really the solution we need, or is there more to the story?
Well, I think we need to start by understanding the context, because I think that's often misunderstood. The pandemic has led to a notable increase in unauthorised absences. Data from the Department for Education indicates a significant rise in penalty notices issued to parents. It's clear that absenteeism is a pressing issue affecting students' education and well-being. And we know from recent research that there is a definite link between school absence and mental health difficulties. The latest report from the Children's Commissioner revealed some really worrying statistics, which I'll just share a few with you. In excess of 10,000 children left the state education system to destinations unknown to their local authorities. Over 13,000 children who left state education system for home education disproportionately had special educational needs or came from disadvantaged backgrounds. Over 80% of all children who moved into home education were persistently or severely absent in the previous year. Nearly 3,000 children became a child missing education. These children were much more likely to have come from deprived neighbourhoods and also be known to social care. So from a safeguarding perspective, what is really worrying is that local authorities report they don't have the sufficient resources or powers to identify and support children missing education or to help them return to school.
Oh my gosh. And the recent increase in fines is making headlines. But beyond the headlines, what does the latest guidance actually say? You know, are these fines truly addressing, those root causes of absenteeism?
Well, that's a good question, Sarah. I mean, the fines, they now start at £80 and they can escalate to £160 if not settled promptly. But fines alone, then, they might just not solve this problem. It's crucial to clarify who has the authority to issue these fines and what support mechanisms are in place.
Absolutely right, Sam. Fines can only be issued by designated individuals such as the head teacher and local authorities. But it's not just about punishment. It's about finding a balance, I think, between accountability and support for families, that are facing challenges.
Yeah, exactly, Sarah. I mean, Jeff Barton from the Association of School and College Leaders, he highlighted the importance of fines as a deterrent, but he also stressed the need for holistic support for families. It's not just about enforcing rules, it's about understanding the underlying issues.
And let's not forget about those safeguarding concerns. School attendance is crucial for identifying and supporting vulnerable students. There is a clear link between consistent absences and external risks such as involvement in criminal activities. So it is all about eyes on, always.
Yeah, definitely. The guidance emphasises the importance of collaboration between schools, local authorities and parents to address attendance issues effectively. It's about offering tailored support and interventions to those who need it most.
And it's not just about fines. It's about fostering a collaborative effort to ensure fairness and support for all families. By working together, stakeholders, they can create a more inclusive and supportive educational environment for students. As we move forward, I think it's essential to embrace collaboration and innovation in addressing absenteeism. By leveraging technology and evidence-based practices, we can drive that sort of meaningful progress in improving school attendance and educational outcomes.
Absolutely. I mean, it's my old mantra, that collective responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
One that requires the involvement of schools, local authorities, parents, and policymakers, and only together will you create that better future for these students. So now let's take a kind of deeper dive into some of the specific aspects of the new guidance. And can we explore how they might impact families and schools across England?
Well, let's start with the fine structure. The increase in fines for unauthorised absences is certainly significant, but I think, is it enough to deter parents from taking their children out of school during term time?
Well, that's a valid question, isn't it? I mean, while fines, they do serve as a deterrent, especially for families considering term time holidays, but there are deeper issues at play here. Many families face socioeconomic challenges that may impact their ability to adhere to strict school attendance policies.
Absolutely, Sam. And it's essential, to consider the broader context of absenteeism. For example, what support mechanisms are in place for families who may be struggling with health issues or financial difficulties or other sort of extenuating circumstances?
Yeah.
The guidance sort of emphasises the importance of collaboration between school and families to address barriers to attendance. And this sort of includes identifying and addressing in-school barriers, as well as providing access to external support services when they're needed. But let's not forget about the role of local authorities in supporting schools and families.
Yeah.
By working closely with schools and other partners, local authorities, they can help ensure that students receive the support they need to attend schools regularly.
Yeah, and that collaboration's key, isn't it, to addressing absenteeism effectively. By working together, schools, local authorities and families, they can create a supportive educational environment where, what we want is every child having the opportunities to succeed.
Yeah.
But let's shift our focus to the issue of safeguarding. The guidance highlights the importance of consistent school attendance in safeguarding vulnerable students. But what specific steps are schools taking to identify and support these students?
Well, I think that's a really important question, Sam. Schools play a crucial role in safeguarding students and identifying potential risks. So by maintaining that open communication channel with students and families, schools can better understand the individual needs of each student and provide appropriate support. And it's not just about identifying risks, it's also about providing proactive support to prevent issues from arising in the first place.
Yeah.
This may involve sort of early intervention strategies, such as mentoring, counselling, targeted academic support, or that early help initiative, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So that by taking that proactive approach to safeguarding, schools can help ensure that all their pupils feel safe, supported, and, as I said earlier, able to achieve their full potential. So let's take a moment to discuss some of the critiques and alternative approaches to addressing absenteeism. While fines may serve as a deterrent, some critics argue that they may not effectively address the root causes of absenteeism. So it's essential to consider the broader socioeconomic factors that may contribute to absenteeism, such as poverty, housing instability, or family dynamics.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Emily Hunt from the Education Policy Institute advocates for a more nuanced approach to addressing absenteeism. And this includes investing in mental health provision, supporting children with special educational needs and disabilities, and addressing child poverty. And let's not forget about the importance of integrating guidance on school attendance with other relevant statutory documents, such as those addressing children missing in education or supporting pupils with medical conditions and keeping children safe in education. By integrating that guidance across multiple domains, schools can provide a more comprehensive framework for addressing absenteeism and supporting student wellbeing. I think the government missed a bit of a trick here, actually, by not integrating it further.
Yeah, I think so. So as a former head teacher, Sarah, you've got first-hand experience dealing with absenteeism, inner city school with a high proportion of migrant families. What are your insights into the challenges of addressing absenteeism and the importance of maintaining open communication channels with families?
Well, I've seen firsthand the challenges that schools face in addressing absenteeism, particularly in communities with high levels of mobility.
So, what strategies did you find most effective in addressing absenteeism? I know I'm putting you on the spot here,
It's
but
okay. Yeah.
what was most effective in addressing that absenteeism in your school?
Well, I think one approach that proved really successful for my school was sort of maintaining the open communication channels with families, and emphasizing the importance of regular school attendance, really, really talking about it on a daily basis. I think by working collaboratively with families, we were able to reduce absenteeism and create a more supportive school environment. And those conversations happen daily, and we worked collaboratively together if they needed extended leave, for example.
Yeah. But how did you handle situations where families, say, needed to travel suddenly, such
Mm.
as, visiting relatives abroad?
Well, it is indeed a challenge, particularly if you're in a school such as mine, where we had a high number of migrant families. And in many cases, families needed to travel at short notice, often if, a relative was sick abroad, grandma was suddenly taken ill. And I think it was important that we recognise the importance of supporting families during these often difficult times, while also maintaining the focus on that students' education and their attendance.
So, how did you address these situations while still upholding the attendance policy?
Well, we work really closely with families to find a compromise solutions, really. So, for example, we allowed families to attach up to 10 days leave on either side of a school holiday to accommodate their travel plans in line with the authorised absence guidance. And this approach really helped reduce unauthorised extended leave significantly. So, if families said to me, we need to go abroad for such, I said, can you hold on and let's attach it to the Easter holidays, for example. I can give you 5 days before, 5 days after. So you're going to have 20 days, you're going to have that month there, but you're not going to break those unauthorised absence rules.
So it sounds like that open dialogue and flexibility, that was key in finding the solutions that worked for both the school and the families.
Yeah, absolutely. By ensuring that parents understood their responsibilities regarding school attendance and the consequences of extended absences, we're sort of able to maintain a supportive relationship while upholding those attendance policies. And there was an awful lot of goodwill that went on then and creating that compromising situation with families.
So it's a great example, isn't it, of how collaboration and understanding can make a significant difference in addressing absenteeism, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's shift our focus back to the broader issue of absenteeism and explore some of the ways in which maybe schools can support students and families more effectively. One approach mentioned in the guidance is the use of individualised support plans for pupils with persistent absenteeism. Can you maybe say a little bit more about how these plans work?
Well, individualised support plans involve identifying the underlying reasons for a student's absenteeism and developing targeted interventions to address those issues. So, this may include providing additional academic support or connecting families with community resources or offering counselling services, for example.
So it's about a holistic approach to addressing
Yeah.
absenteeism, isn't it? And,
Mm.
considering the various factors that might be contributing to a student's challenges with attendance.
Absolutely. And by addressing the root causes of absenteeism and providing targeted support, schools can often help ensure that all the students have that opportunity to succeed.
So, what do you believe schools can do to better support families facing challenges with attendance?
Well, I honestly do believe that that open communication is key.
Mm.
Schools need to be more understanding of families' circumstances and work collaboratively to find solutions that work for everyone. I also think schools could do more to provide support for students who may be struggling with attendance due to underlying issues. I mean, such as mental health problems or family difficulties. I think as it stands at the moment, it's very black and white, our guidance, and it
Mm.
doesn't allow for that nuanced approach of what's going on in the dynamic of a family.
Yeah. Well, it's clear that there's a consensus on the importance of open communication and understanding between schools and families when it comes to addressing
Mm.
absenteeism. And it's going to take working together and taking a more holistic approach to addressing the root causes of absenteeism, then schools can create that supportive and inclusive learning environment for all their pupils. So we've only just sort of touched the edge of this subject, and I'm quite sure we'll come back to this when the new system kicks in. But it's been really interesting, and thanks for reflecting on your experience, Sarah.
Yeah, that's fine. I just think that schools have to find a way to work with guidance and with their families. It has to be a compromise in order to be able to ensure that you can give the best to your families to support them and those children to be able to get into school and to really help them to achieve.